Welcome, 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 viewers. This is the Treasures of Life show. And my name is JONAH SIMBA. How have you been? My sign language interpreter is Esther Kendi. Esther Kendi. Yes. My name is JONAH SIMBA. And this is the Treasures of Life show. We are bringing you this from Science TV. I encourage you to get in touch with us. 01111980384. You see, as I keep bringing these shows to you, I get encouraged whenever you give your feedback to me. And that is why today, as I bring you a topic on diagnosing relationships, I cannot do this without helping you diagnose yourself. I want you to take stock of your history. For a moment, if you can remember, be deliberate about it. Just think, where were you at 0 to 5 years? Sometimes we don't realize that many of the times when we deal with relationships at our adulthood, we are actually carrying that age with us, 0 to 5 years. Did you have a caring parent? Was your parent present for you? What did you go through? What are the people saying about you at that time? Whoever was around you, probably your nanny, your uncle, your auntie, what are they saying about your life at that age? This is important, for me to help you diagnose yourself, because it is possible that you may be dealing with things right now in your relationships that stem from that age. There is a lack or a plentiful of something. Were you in abundance? At that stage, whenever you would need something, was it available? Were your parents or whoever was taking care of you financially endowed? Were they in financial lack? What was the kind of relationship you had with children around your estate or around your place of stay? What do other children who grew up with you at that age say about you now? Those are some important things you need to understand, because you may be dealing with issues in your relationships. For example, are you direct? Whenever you are passing a point, are you direct? Are you firm? Are you apologetic before you speak? What is your language that like? Whenever you're speaking to relationships, do you succumb to manipulation easily? Because if you are raised in a tough situation, that describes a certain way of you approaching relationships. Now, you need to understand that many times you attract, places that you've been before. If you were in abusive situations before as a child, more often than not, given an opportunity, you would attract an abusive spouse. Just for your information, let's say you had a tough mother. Let me ask you a question. Was your mother good? Was your father good? In your own opinion, I want you to assess the relationship that you had with your parent. Take a moment. Be very honest. Did your father get so involved with your issues as a boy? I'm now talking to you, probably you're a man listening to me, or you're a woman. Did your mother listen to your issues? Do you know there is a way in which men behave that if you lacked a man figure at that time, there are ways you would approach relationships. Mark my words. You may not be very direct in relationships. You may not be firm. Probably you are not raised around the male figure, so you don't understand that men can say no. You don't understand that men go into relationships many times with demands. You don't understand that. So you're just open. You find yourself in a situation where you go proposing to a lady just probably because she looks good in your opinion, but you don't go with any other need. That is a candidate for manipulation. Just in case you did not know, many men are manipulated. I'm talking to men. I'll come to you ladies, but many men are manipulated in relationships. Why? They never grew around men. They never had the father figure. The boy child is in danger. So what happens? Men are getting into relationships where they are the suppliers. You've heard of the sponsorship mentality? Yeah. It is a manipulative emotion. It is a manipulative spirit. It stems very naturally from women. And it takes a man who has grown around a man that understands that men say no, men have a limit, and understand that men are not abusive, but they can say no. Just in case you think I'm chauvinistic, I'll come to the women, but I'm not speaking about chauvinism here, but I'm speaking about an aspect of manhood that may be lacking in society. Why is it that men, the boy child, is looking for a wife, is looking for a girlfriend, is looking for a spouse, but what they're lacking, what they're finding is a situation where they go into relationships to supply. Raw deal. You need to understand that a relationship is both ways. This stems from history, where you've been. When you see a man going into a relationship basically to supply, but not getting the advantage of the woman in return, that is an imbalanced relationship. Many of us men go into relationship without a list. You just propose. If a woman asks you, why do you like me? Why do you want me? You don't even know. So already you're a candidate of manipulation. I listen to men talk. I listen to the boy child talk. Before they have even stated what they want, they don't talk like somebody who deserves respect. Yeah? They are beginning from a point of apology. For example, what is wrong in asking for financial assistance? There's nothing wrong. But if you see a man getting into a place where they are looking for financial assistance, men are known to be suppliers in homes, breadwinners. So more often than not, they will land into financial issues more than women because they are known to be breadwinners. So whenever they approach a situation where they're asking for support, even before they ask for that support, you are able to diagnose, you're able to see that this is already a man that has opened up to manipulation. You bring in apologies, you are bringing yourself like it's a mistake, it's a problem to ask for support. That tells you something about your mindset. That tells you something about what you think about asking for support. These are things you need to diagnose. There is nothing absolutely wrong. That is just one example. Sometimes you just need not to explain yourself. Sometimes you need just to be direct and firm. You don't need to explain so much detail. It's like you want to bring out so much of you. Anybody, you approach situations, and as a boy or as a man, you feel like you are obliged to explain so much. Now, it is natural for boys who have been raised around fathers. Mothers, you may not understand this, but let me bring it to you ladies. This is why it is important to allow your boy child interact with male figures around them. And in the same manner, let the ladies interact with female figures around them. This is for proper nurturing, because as we grow up as male and female, we are going to get into relationships in future. And these are the things that are going to affect our family settings and eventually the healthy social life of a nation, you know. I want to speak to, especially men in this section, because you find men with weak words, it takes you to sit around men and male figures to understand that men move with strong words, I'm looking at words like probably, I think, maybe, You may look like you're humble. There is a difference between ego and pride. How much do you operate around weak words? You need to find yourself a list of the weak words that you use, because this explains why you fall into manipulation. You are a candidate of manipulation because you don't even understand that weak words are your favorite words. Whenever you talk, probably, I think, you're very unpredictable, very not firm, not direct in your stating things. That explains it is a certain kind of temperament, but when it is overused, when it's used more than enough, then it works to your disadvantage. You don't become easy to say no. You don't bring out what you want as a man. You should be able to face a woman as a man and explain what exactly you need. That is what we lack. We lack men who can face a relationship and place a demand. I'm not talking about over demanding, but you need to know, what do you want in a woman? Is any woman just a woman? Let me ask you a question. For you, is any woman just a woman? And probably you're a woman. Is any man just a man? I mean, if any man came your way, is that just enough for you? You need to understand what you want in a relationship. That will explain to you. Whenever you start talking, do you open up to manipulation so easily? Even before you've moved into your communication, you've already opened up. When you open up with apologies before you move in, you look like you're giving somebody an open check, an open piece of paper for them to bring to you. And that is why we need the boy child back. I'm talking about diagnosing relationships. And that is, I'm starting from the perspective of men, because a relationship consists of a man and a woman, definitely. It is important for you to understand that your relationships as a child, how you grew, just in case you grew in a setting that you feel disadvantaged you, there is always a second opportunity. You see, you treat what you diagnose. You don't treat what you've not diagnosed. That's why you go to a hospital. If a sickness is not known, then you'll not be treated. You'll die because of lack of diagnosis. You need to understand that when you feel sick in terms of your physical setup, your emotional frontier, your financial setup, your social setup, probably even your spiritual setup. These are very key areas of your life. If you're experiencing any thirst, any lack, any pain in those areas, you should be able to sit and diagnose it. Why? You cannot treat what you do not know. That is why it is important for you sometimes to ask questions. Sit with people who saw you grow up. Sit with your parent. Some of us, our parents already died many years ago, or several years ago. But just in case your parent is still alive and is there, or maybe people that grew up with you, you need to be very, very deliberate sometimes in asking them, how was I at this age 0 to age 5? What kind of child was I? And then you need to look around your parenthood, how you grew up, how you related with children, how you related with friends at a young age. You need to understand that some of these things you can rectify when you diagnose, because there are things that could have happened and could be making you suffer abuse right now and suffer pain right now just because you've not diagnosed it. I'm talking about diagnosing relationships. See you after the break.